Hello, my book club friends. It's Miss Seal coming to you on this beautiful Saturday. It is May the 2nd, and I'm sitting in my backyard under a pin oak tree, which is in the same family as the red oak tree. It's probably the closest one to the red oak. And we have several of these lining our property to give us shade in the summer. And my husband put this swing under this one for me so that I can enjoy the backyard and just watch my son when he plays. And I just love it back here. The branches come out really far, and so we have to prune it every year, which we'll talk about pruning in the book today. Today we're going to discuss chapters 41 through 45. We are almost to the end. And I hope you've finished the book. Next week, we will be collecting library books. Starting on May the 4th, there will be a couple of bins outside of the school that you can just drop your library books in there, and then I will check them in for you and get you set up for next school year. So try to get those returned no later than next Friday so I can get those processed. I'm kind of sad that our book club is coming to an end. I'll come to you one more time. We'll have a little celebration of the last 5 chapters, but I didn't really want to group 10 chapters into one because these chapters 41 through 45, they were a little bit longer than some of the other chapters, and a lot of material is covered, so I didn't want to not do justice to those chapters. I wanted to still just do 5. When we come back in July, I will set a date for us to have a nice ice cream sundae party, because that's what I do with my book club friends. And we will stay maybe one day after school, or maybe I can work it out that we can do it in the middle of the school day so that we can still have our wish tree celebration of finishing this book. And you should feel very accomplished for finishing a chapter book. That is a wonderful thing, especially in an elementary school level, to see a chapter book through and to finish it. And I hope that is something that I've inspired you to do through the book club. Honestly, that's one of my main purposes for having book clubs, is to get you to realize the beauty of reading chapter books. And I hope it's something that you continue to do the rest of your life. I know a lot of people, while they've been stuck at home, as I'm reading my Facebook, they're enjoying some good books to read. I know Miss Seal has been enjoying some good books to read. Books can really get you out of some dark times. They can give you hope, that word we've been talking about, during times of unrest. So I hope you've enjoyed finishing the wish tree together. And I know some of you have been reading it with your family, and I think that's so wonderful when you do that. The last time we spoke, I asked you to think about the word hope, and I asked you to share maybe what the word hope meant to you. And Aries sent me this definition that I just had to share it to Aries. Now, it's really windy out here today, boys and girls, so bear with me if my papers fly away. Aries said that hope means to her that everything gets better. And I loved her definition, because I really believe if you have hope in your heart, that you do believe that everything is going to work out and everything's going to get better. Even if it's something that you're sad about, you know that things will have to get better. And I feel like I'm a person who always holds on to hope, and I hope that you are always holding on for hopeful things. Just like next school year, it is my hope that we have a full school year and that we don't have any interruptions that could throw us off like this virus has, that we'll get to have. Like my hope for next year is I hope to have more book clubs. I hope to have some in the morning and in the afternoon so more of my students can participate. And it's my hope that you've enjoyed book club so much that you'll want to join book club again. And I really look forward to that. So, before I forget, your assignment for next week is to think about the benefits of nature. And I want you to write down 5 benefits that nature gives us. Now, in the paper, it says specifically about trees, but you can talk about anything in nature. You can talk about the animals, you can talk about plants, you can talk about trees. I've already spoken to you today about the benefit of the shade of the trees. I've enjoyed the shade of trees since I was such a young girl. We had a big tree in our backyard, and unfortunately I can't tell you what type of tree it was, but that was one of my favorite places to go in the summer, because when I was a little girl, and I'm sure your parents have told you the same thing, we didn't have video games and things like that, so we played outside a lot, and even when it was hot. So when it was really hot, we would enjoy the shade of a tree and play. And my cousins lived next door, so we enjoyed many playtimes outside under that big tree. And I was really sad when my parents had to decide to cut the tree down because it was rotting and it was in danger of falling, and so they had to cut that tree down, and that really made me sad, because I enjoyed that tree so much. Also, I enjoy watching the squirrels, which is something my dad has passed on to me. He loves squirrels. I call him the squirrel whisperer. He has squirrel feeders in his yard at his house. And so those are two things that I enjoy about nature. But another thing, a third thing I'll tell you, is I just enjoy the beauty and the peace that nature gives us. And I think, to me, this book, Wish Tree, has my paper fell. Let me grab it. Has definitely been a key theme in this book, the peace and the beauty that nature gives us. And if you just look around you, especially in the springtime, I mean, just looking here, the beautiful leaves and the beautiful flowers that I have in my yard, how can you not feel peace and joy just by being in nature? And I know we talked about this a couple of videos ago, but think about what the world would be like without nature. It'd be pretty dull, not near as pretty. So, like I said, this book is really a book that encourages us to reflect on nature and to be grateful and thankful for it. So in chapters 41 through, here's my little note paper I'm going to read to you. In chapter 41, Wishing Day is coming up, which is May 1st. And Red recognizes that this may very well be his very last Wish Tree Day. And because Red is who he is, as Bongo reminds us, Red is not a pessimist about it. He's not negative. He is trying to look on the good side. Some people have already started to put their wishes on the branches because they want to make sure that they get the lower branches. But something else happens in chapter 41 that where we see the not so good side of people. Is Red gets egged. He gets eggs thrown at his tree trunk. And of course, Bongo is like, "Are you okay? Did it hurt?" And Red reassures him that no, it didn't hurt me. But it's just really sad that once again we see the ugly side of people where they don't make the best choices. We also see another side of someone that I don't really particularly care for, is Stephen's father. When he sees Stephen and Samar talking together, he's not happy about it. And we know that because it says he was frowning. So it leads me to think in this chapter, does Stephen's father feel the way the person did that carved the name Leave on the trunk? Does he have a little bit of prejudice in his heart towards Samar? So those are some things to think about in chapter 41. In chapter 42, Francesca's in the picture, and she's trying to decide what to do about Red. It's the day before Wishing Day, and Francesca comes over to check out the tree. A few early wishers have gotten their spots, and there's a news reporter that comes by. Francesca says she has someone coming. She tells the reporter that she has someone coming over to look at Red, and that she also discovers that his roots are growing into the pipes, which, if you know anything about plumbing, that is very, very costly to get roots out of pipes. And so there's water saturating the ground, and so that's just another reason why Francesca just feels like Red is just a problem. And we really see where Francesca is not very sentimental toward the meaning of Red. And that to me was a little disturbing. Like, there's so much history in Red, but yet she just dismisses it. She just really considers Red a nuisance. So the next day she's having a tree guy come, and in chapter 43 we see where Red compares the tree cutters and their equipment to how people feel about the dentist, because most people have very negative feelings about the dentist, including Miss Seal. It's one of my least favorite places to go is the dentist. And he talks about root canals and cavities and how he's never had any of those things done, but just by seeing that equipment makes him say, oh, well, I can kind of understand how the humans feel about that now. Red is hopeful though. Red, when he sees the equipment, he kind of says to Bongo, well, maybe they're just going to prune me, which of course that means to just trim his branches. And that's when Bongo says, oh, you're always just the optimist, because Bongo deep down in her heart knows that's not why those tree cutters are there. They're not there with that big equipment just to prune Red. And then Francesca tells the tree cutters that she wants to cut the tree down on May the 1st, because that's the perfect day, because all of the animals leave the tree. And of course the tree cutters suggested, well, you should really wait till the fall, because that's kind of the best time to cut down trees. And she's like, nope, the animals will not be there because they leave because they don't want to be around for all of the wishers. And we see once again where she's not thinking about the sentiment of Red, but she's just thinking about, this is a problem, this tree's a nuisance, I've got to get rid of this tree. Even though the experts have told her to wait till the fall, she's like, nope, I want it done May the 1st. So then Francesca in chapter 44, she goes to Stephen's parents and she goes to Samar's parents just to let them know what's going on. And she tells them, you know, I'm cutting down the tree. And of course, both of their parents, they can't disagree with her. They understand, and they talk about there'll be more light in the house. And this kind of makes Red a little bit sad, you know, to how they're, you know, just talking about how we're not having him around, we'll have more light in the house. But then Stephen and Samar, they tell Francesca about their displeasure in having her cut down Red, and they tell her how they know the story of Maeve. And she's kind of surprised for a minute, and she sees the key around Samar's neck, but then she just quickly is like, she doesn't care. And to me that was like, wow, she just really, I don't know if she's just cold-hearted or what, but she really doesn't, it doesn't seem to bother her, like I said, about the history of the tree and her family. And so she tells Samar that key belongs to a journal of Maeve's, and that they can go, if they want to go find it, they're more than welcome to go find it. So of course her interest is piqued because the kids know the story, but then she just quickly dismisses it and says, hey, go find the journal and just quit all this tree talk. Just quit all this tree talk of saving the trees, because you don't really know what you're talking about, because you're just kids. And that's what she tells them. And then Samar confides in Stephen about some instances at school where the kids aren't being so nice to her. And that's when Red sees that a budding friendship is happening, because, you know, with your friends, when you're upset, when you're happy, when you're sad, you talk to your friends about those things. And so Red sees that, and that makes him very happy that they've got a friendship going on. So chapter 45 I want to read to you, because I love chapter 45. It's the night before Red is to be cut down, and so Red is very reflective. Chapter 45, trees don't sleep, not like people do, or animals, but we do rest. Unfortunately, that night rest eluded me, meaning rest did not happen. I was filled with questions about the coming day, of course, but most of all, I didn't want to miss a moment of what little life I had left. I wanted to drink in the stars. I love that sentence. Have you ever been outside and looked at the stars and felt like you were almost drinking in the stars, like Red was saying. I love that. And I love the next 2 pages where the words are written on a starry night. I love how the illustrator did that. I wanted to feel the fuzzy wings of the owlets. I wanted to stretch my roots just a tiny bit further before the night was through. I wanted to indulge in some quiet contemplation about life and love and what it all meant. I wanted to philosophize. It's a hard word to say. I've been thinking, I said to Bongo, there's no point in my worrying about tomorrow. It will come soon enough. Red, Bongo said. Too much, wise old tree? Bongo paused. She looked at me for a long time. Never, she said. Never, ever too much, wise old tree. Bongo settled onto home plate. The world was quiet and calm. Want to hear a tree joke? I asked. Is it funny? Probably not, I admitted. Then probably no. What's a tree's least favorite month? I don't know what month. September, I paused. Because you see, Red, Bongo interrupted. As always, no need to explain. We didn't speak much after that. Turned out I didn't need to talk about life and love and what it all meant. It was enough to watch the sky freckled with stars, to smell the sweet, wet earth, to listen to the beating hearts of the little ones I could keep safe, at least for one more night. And I love that last paragraph about how Red is reflecting on what he gives back, and that he can hear the beating hearts of the little ones that he takes care of. And that to me was just beautifully written by the author. And I could just see that. And it really does make you feel like, you know, Red is almost like a real person. Before I close today, I want to show you the beautiful wish trees that you and your friends created, because I promised that I would go by the school and get those. And I'm just going to read off the name of the person that created the tree. They're all different, just like our trees in our neighborhoods, and all the trees that we see, they're all different, even if they are the same type of tree. I'm not going to read the wishes because those are personal, but I will get these to your teachers so that you can have them when you pick up your grade cards. Okay, so this one is Jeffrey's. This one is Marco's. Some of the trees are bare and some of them are full, and I love that. This one belongs to Mr. Eli. And notice that the trunks are made from our hands and a little bit of our arm, and I love that as well. This one is Serenity's. Serenity's a little bit fuller. This one is Aubrey's. Really full tree. This one is Mr. Simon's. You guys did a great job on these. I just had to share them. These are Hallison. This one's Hallison's. This one belongs to Allie. This one belongs to Leslie, a really nice full tree. This is how I picture Red looking, like a really big full tree. This one is Tanya's. Wind's picking up, I hope it don't blow it away. Al Hadi created this one. Tiffany, this is your tree. And this one didn't have a name, but I'm thinking this one might have been Faith's. This one might have been Faith's. Leah, another full tree. This one is Nazareth. Ooh, my wind's picking up. Bear with me. This one belongs to Waylon. This one is Damien's. This one is Lincoln's. This goes all the way down the trunk there. And this one belongs to Mary. And Mary, my son, was so tickled that you shared the same name as his mother. He thought that was so cool. This one is Cadence. This is Miss Aries. And then this one is Audrey's. Boys and girls, you did a fabulous job. I hope you will keep these wish trees and share them with your family, maybe your friends. Get out and enjoy the nature. Spring is such a beautiful time for that. The next time I send you a video, it'll be our last book club. Kind of makes me sad. I've enjoyed coming to you each week. And I really hope that you have taken the time to finish this book, because it is such a good book. I feel like this book has changed me in many ways. When I go out on my walks, I notice that I'm looking at trees more, and I'm trying to identify them. I'm paying more attention to nature, and I love that about this book. So have a wonderful day. Know that I love you. Please keep reading. Books are my jam. I love books. I hope you love books. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.